Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Uncle P with another episode of Uncle P's podcast. Yo, I'm afraid, what a week, guys. I've seen all your DMs, I've seen all your emails. Please, I apologize. It's very hard for me to record on the weekends because I've got my kids with me and present dad. So we do a lot of activities. So it's hard to record and edit. It takes a lot of time. But guys, I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the checking in, the concerns. But Uncle P is good. In fact, you know what? Let's do this the right way, okay? Let's do a little toast. I want to do a toast to all my subscribers, guys. We're almost close to 6,000 subscribers. So cheers to us who are growing this page. Cheers to everybody that contributes to this page. Cheers to everybody that watches the video. They don't only watch the toxic videos, but they watch all of them. Cheers to single mothers, to present dads. Cheers to the hustlers. Cheers to the League of Foreigners. Cheers to everybody that loves the truth. And cheers to me eventually getting married by the end of this year, because this big house, I can't live here alone forever. Cheers. Guys, listen. There are some truths that we need to accept. And the truths are that there are some races that will always defend their own. One thing I know for sure, if a war had to break down today, if we had to have mass division, Indian people will hold their own. White people definitely holding their own. Chinese, don't even talk. Before they think about culture, they'll hold their own. But when it comes to us black people, we look at who's from where. Go to your country and go hold yourself. And then after we finish telling each other to go back to each other's country, we'll start telling each other to go to each other's provinces. And then when we get to each other's provinces, it's going to be each other's cultures and then each other's clans. That's how divisive or how divided we are as black people. And this is a systematic thing. This is something that has been programmed. And the reality is the white man is beginning to realize that the world is getting tired. The reality is, yes, not enough good white people are speaking, but they are speaking. In America, this is their reality right now.
Deporting American citizens to Central American prisons. Is it legal, or do you need to change the law to do it?
Well, it's another question that the president has raised. It's a legal question that the president is looking into. And he talked about this yesterday when with his meeting with President Bukele in the Oval Office. He would only consider this, if legal, for Americans who are the most violent, egregious, repeat offenders of crime, who nobody in this room wants living in their communities.
That's what they said, but is that what they did?
The president has shown support for South African refugees that are coming to the United States next week. Can you talk about what these refugees are fleeing and why this is a priority for the administration?
Well, the president has actually signed an executive order on that matter. My office can get it back to you, Michael. But this group in South Africa has faced racial persecution. In fact, the government there has vowed to take away their farmland that they own. And so the president has talked significantly about this. As for further details on refugee claims and asylum claims, I would defer you to the State Department.
Do you think Afrikaner farmers are the most persecuted group in the world?
I think those 49 people that came certainly felt they were persecuted, and they've passed every sort of check mark that had to be checked off in terms of meeting the requirements for that. They live in a country where farms are taken and land is taken on a racial basis.
Okay. Do you think they're more persecuted than Uyghurs or Rohingyas, or more persecuted than political dissidents in Cuba or Venezuela or Nicaragua, or more persecuted than those who would be threatened should they be returned to Afghanistan by violence by the Taliban?
Well, the problem we face there is the volume problem, okay? If you look at all the persecuted people of the world, it's millions of people. They can't all come here. And we had refugee programs.
So why prioritize Afrikaner farmers?
Well, because it's a small subset, it's a new issue, and the president identified it as a problem and wanted to use it as an example. But that's different from having these refugee programs that were basically spending money to put people up in communities and accommodate them, and it was acting as a magnet. Millions of people in this country illegally, and today the border is sealed.
Let me challenge you, and I'm just going to say for the public, if you want to understand about the, quote, persecution of Afrikaner farmers, go look at the composition of the South African government. Since July of 2024, there's a government of national unity. And the opposition party to the ANC, the Afrikaner Party, the Democracy Alliance, is part of the governing coalition. They joined the governing coalition a year ago, and the leader of that party was given the remit of Agriculture Minister, John Steenhuisen. He is the leader of the former Afrikaner Party, still widely representing Afrikaners. He is the Minister of Agriculture in South Africa right now. I assert that this claim that there's persecution of Afrikaner farmers is completely specious. Are you aware ever during the apartheid era in South Africa did the United States establish a special program to allow South African blacks who were treated as second-class citizens in the apartheid program, a special program so they could claim refugee status in the United States?
No, because I was probably in 9th grade or 8th grade at the time.
Yeah, well, then I don't expect you to know. I'll just tell you, never has there been a special program for Africans to come in as refugees to the United States. We've allowed special programs for people being persecuted for their religion, Soviet-era Jews. We've allowed special programs for people fleeing from communism, Cuba, Vietnam, the Soviet Union. We've never allowed a special program to allow Africans into the United States in an expedited refugee status until now. Afrikaner farmers living in a nation governed by a government of national unity that includes the main Afrikaner Party. And actually, an even more right-wing Afrikaner Party is also included in the coalition government. Now, would you...
Guys, so moral of the story is that we've already debunked that this is nonsense. The people that went there are not even farmers, blah, blah, blah. We can talk the whole day about this. What people are not realizing is that this has nothing to do with just farmers. Their plan did not work. Donald Trump, Elon Musk are devising a plan to make America an all-white country. And that's what people are not realizing. And they wanted the South African farmers to become farmers in America because they want to make America become self-efficient. America is not self-efficient. There is nothing America can do on its own. America needs every single nation in the world. People are going to come, oh, you are just making this up, you're just assuming this, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I don't just talk, I like to bring evidence on the table.
106,000. That's how many black women lost their jobs last month.
Okay, so I'm not even going to hold y'all, but I need y'all to know this.
106,000. 106,000. That's how many black women lost their jobs last month. Just last month. Not a year, not 6 months, last month, 1 month. Why specifically black? But we keep listening.
In the month of April, yeah, that's just last month, black women recorded the largest loss of jobs among any other racial or gender group.
And while the unemployment rate went down for others, for us, it went up.
Here in these United States of America. And this is according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. If you don't know, you need to go look it up, you need to Google it now. So while unemployment rates remained pretty steady at 4.2% overall, unemployment rates for black women went from 5.1% to 6.1% in 1 month.
New eye-popping data shows what is not often cited in the nation's labor force. Fresh numbers reveal that unemployment for black workers this year is steadily rising, especially for black women. A disturbing...
We made a video where we spoke about 8.2 million black South Africans have become unemployed in the last 3 months. Guys, this is an agenda to protect their own. This is an agenda to protect their own. The problem with South Africa is that South Africa gets easily misled by such. You see, when South Africa sees this type of victories and this type of unity, this type of togetherness, it reminds them that they're a rainbow nation. It reminds them of the softness and the kind people that they are. And especially those of us that are in the middle class, those of us that can afford to pay for private schools, those of us that eat nicely, those of us can afford to go to restaurants here and there, those of us that have credit cards, for those of you that have. We the middle class are the biggest hypocrites, because we feel like we have nothing to fight for because we are living a decent life, and everybody else who's making noise just needs to shut the fuck up. Guys, the reality is, as beautiful as this is, colored, white, Indian, black, South Africa is a rainbow nation. I give that 100%. The reality is, the Muzungus will always take care of their own if hell breaks loose.
Are there any good white people in the world?
There may be, but it doesn't matter. And you know why? No matter how good an individual white person may be, they have an obligation to look out for the best interests of the white race. Therefore, no matter how well-meaning they may be, at the end of the day, they're going to close ranks with their own people. Every white person has an obligation to promote and protect white privilege. If there were so many good white people in the world as so many black multiculturalists claim, why is apartheid still in effect? Why do you have 200,000 homeless black people in South Africa? Why are there 3,000 South Africans who own more than the bottom 32 million of South Africa? Why has the income equality in South Africa gotten worse since April 27th of 1994? Yeah. If you got all these good white people, we should see some structural evidence of their good deeds. Show me the good deeds of those good demons and I'll change my mind.
Show me those good deeds of those good demons and I will change my mind. Guys, until the wealth is equally shared, stop lying to yourself. For as long as you still need to go to Soweto, Tembisa, you still need to go to the village to go see your grandmother or your mom, the fight is not yet ended. The reality is, a lot of us is just tired because we have made so much noise. We fought. Some of us have created comfortable lives. We have white friends, Indian friends, colored friends, and these topics become extremely uncomfortable. I have a lot of friends that don't even talk to me anymore, you know. Some of them talk to me in private, you know, because these are very uncomfortable topics, but these are realities that we need to face. And you know what's the worst part about this reality? Is that foreigners think that the white men love them because they fight for them.
And he goes on in that directive to say, not only get them out, but if you don't get them out, I will get you out. And I should just say, I'm not here representing the Helen Suzman Foundation. I'm in fact the executive director of the Campaign for Free Expression. And together with a number of civil society organizations, we have issued a statement strongly condemning these utterances on the part of the minister. We are a nation of laws. We are a nation renowned for our constitution. It is extraordinary.
We are a nation of laws. We're a nation renowned for our constitution. And these are some words that I keep reminding you guys that these people will keep saying out of their mouths. These are words. It's the constitution, guys. That's why when I say it's an opportunity to strengthen the constitution, it's not a joke. They are using the constitution to manipulate the system, to manipulate us, to manipulate our voices, to manipulate what we can say or do. Foreigners, them fighting for you is for only one reason only. They still require slaves to work for them. If they really cared for you and they thought that South Africans were lazy, they would have paid you the right salaries. I was talking to a Zimbabwe lady. She's now got a new job because she got tired of her other job because they were only paying her 3,000 rand and they wouldn't trust her with the house keys. Now she's got a new job where she's a caregiver, but she's so tired. Her back is so cold. She has to carry these two old white people back and forth to their bed, to their toilet and everything, and she's small. They are heavier than her. I asked her, how much are they paying you? She says they're paying her 4.5. And that's a job that you actually get above 20,000 for. And I told her, it's because of people like you that South Africans are angry and upset. You call South African lazy, but look at how you're looking. Your back is so, you're breaking yourself for nothing. And that money is not even enough for you to take care of your 2 kids. We all deserve to have a generation that kills the curse of our families, of poverty. Why not you? Why does it have to be the next? We are fighting so hard. This generation is smart enough, intelligent enough, and strong enough to really, literally eradicate poverty. Our government is captured.
We've been a good market for investments.
Government is captured. Your voices have been silenced. You fought for Starlink not to come into SA, but it's coming into SA. Cyril Ramaphosa went to South Africa, went to America to protect his foreign investments. South Africa does not need America. You guys can keep talking about the 600 companies. You guys can keep talking about the million this. You guys can keep talking about whatever it is that you want. But the reality is this man went there to protect his investments, his master's investments. It was a disrespect to the nation. It was a disrespect to the voices of South Africans. Many people are saying that he couldn't raise his voice because we all know Donald Trump is a psycho. Well, we'll look into that in the next video. I'm your boy Uncle P, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Cheers.